Rajesh Peruwanan drives a tuk-tuk in the town of Kannur, in the state of Kerala, southwest India. Normally, he works from dawn to dusk, bringing people back and forth through the chaotic Indian traffic. But today, he will finish work earlier. He will have to fulfill a traditional task of the members of his caste, the Wanan. Tonight, he will transform himself into a living god, a Theyyam. First, he will go home, where his wife, Manju, waits for him. He will bathe, do his prayers, and get ready to go. Then he will meet with the other men of his family, who are already busy with the preparations. And together they will go to a kaul, a sacred grove that is a temple for the lower castes. The kaul is in the yard of an ancestral family house. Today is the annual festival to honor the divinities which protect that family, and all the relatives and neighbors will come from their homes to participate in and assist with the ceremony. In the shrine of this sacred forest dwell three divinities, all of them mythical ancestors. Wayanathu Kulavan, a warrior and hunter who became a god for his devotion to Shiva. Inoculum, a hunter who died in a forest fire and was elevated to a deity by Wayanathu Kulavan. And Theyyam, a warrior who bravely perished in battle. They will all be revived tonight and be adored by their devotees in a ritual called Theyyam, a danced story. When Rajesh and the Wanan arrive, the family members are already busy with the preparations. A dinner will be offered to all the village, and there are also many ritual items to be arranged. Rajesh and the members of his troupe also get busy. The clothes and props they will wear tonight are mostly made of plants, leaves, flowers, and everything has to be made anew for each occasion. When the moment comes, the performers join the family priest for the first ritual ceremony, the Tudangal, an evocation of the divinities which will be embodied tonight. Later, each performer will receive the weapons and a flame from the shrine. This flame contains Shakti, the energy of the divinity, and it is from this moment on that the performer starts to transform himself into a living god. The preparations will continue. As the performers start to write a mantra on their faces and bodies, assisted by their companions, the flame received from the shrine is always present. It is from the flame and from the mantra that the performer gets the energy that will transform him into a divinity. In the meantime, the villagers enjoy a traditional meal. The drum will call for the first part of the ritual of Inoculum, the Velatum. The ritual will progress in several stages. In the case of Inoculum, it starts with Velatum, a short dance in which he is not yet fully dressed as a god. Suresh, the performer, is still in the process of transformation. Inoculum particularly despises the fire because, as a mortal, he died in a forest fire. And he shows how he doesn't fear it. In the meantime, Rajesh is getting prepared for the Verlatum of Tondasham, the grandfather. When Inoculum ends his dancing, he sits on a throne and blesses the devotees. Now it is time for Rajesh to perform the Verlatum of Tondasham, the phase of the transformation into the great ancestor Inoculum. His dance is sober, of great restraint, with occasional bursts of energy. When the Verlatum is finished, Caleche, another cousin of Rajesh, comes to perform the totem of Kudi Viran. Totem is, like Verlatum, a phase of the transformation, and it consists of the singing of the legend of this warrior ancestor. In the meantime, a large fire is ritually prepared. It will be used after for the performance of Inoculum. By singing, performing martial dances, and ritual pujas, Caleche calls the energy of the divinity upon him to fulfill the transformation. Kudi Viran will drink large amounts of palm wine and will show his skills in Kalari Payat, the traditional martial art from Kerala. When the evocation of Kudi Viran is finished, Caleche leaves the yard. He looks tired but fulfilled. A ground altar is being prepared for the Theyyam of Kudiviran. Performers, priests, and participants use the free time to rest. It is a sacred grove, but it is also a house yard, and no formality is required. The drums call for the next stage of the ritual. Ganesh, another performer, fully transformed into the Theyyam of Kudiviran, enters the yard. He dances around the altar that was built for him. And there he will sacrifice a rooster by ripping its head off. The shrine of the Karoo is where the divinities dwell. Only the family priests can enter there, and many offerings are required to invite them to come and assume a living form. From the shrine, Rajesh again receives a flame. As the garments are ready, the performers take advantage of the opportunity to rest. Kudiviran still has many duties to perform. And blessings and good words to address to the believers. In the meantime, Suresh is completing his transformation into Inoculum Theyyam, helped by the recitation of the appropriate evocative songs. The wood fire has turned into burning coals. At the drum call, Inoculum enters full of energy and after a short dance goes straight towards the coals. This is one of the highlights of the Caleche. Inoculum challenges the fire. The members of the family, protected by the divinity, also step on and kick the coals. Dried coconut leaves are added to the coals to make a big bonfire. And the god repeatedly walks over it in the company of participant believers. The night was long. The sun emerges. Rajesh is getting ready for the last performance, while Inoculum is giving the last prophecies and blessings. When the performer takes off the headgear, he is no longer the divinity, but a humble Wanan. It's early morning, and the villagers wait for the main deity of the Kaul. Again, the call of the drum announces the arrival of the god. He comes out without his headgear. It will be placed in front of the shrine. The moment this crown is placed marks the instant when Inoculum takes full possession of the performer's body. His assistants hide this most sacred occasion from view. Inoculum is blind and old. Sometimes he needs assistance. And sometimes he stumbles. But he sees all with the eye of his mind. He is all-knowing, and the believers seek out his advice. In Kannur and Kasaragod, the two northern districts of Kerala state, where this tradition is practiced, there are more than 600 different divinities that assume the form of Theyyam, a living god. The number of kawus, family or community temples, is countless. The believers are mostly lower caste Hindus. Upper caste Brahmins or Nair will show the same respect to these dancing gods. Nobody can say how old this practice is. But, mingled with Sanskrit Hindu elements, the ritual presents a majority of Dravidian components that point to an aboriginal cult prior to the Brahminical colonization, which started from the 3rd century of the Common Era. The danced and sang stories of these gods, heroes, ancestors, animals and forces of nature tell us about bravery, justice and fairness, and protest against the injustice of the caste system and of the distribution of wealth. The shouts of Inoculum, a mortal farmer who became a hunter and adorer of Shiva, are a cry of rebellion, permitted for one night every year on a given date. The polluting practices like drinking wine and liquor, blood sacrifices or offerings of meat are not compatible with the mainstream conceptions of Hindu religion. It is a ritual of transgression. But also a family religion, and the protection and advice of Inoculum is sought by all the family, relatives and neighbours. Sitting on his throne, taking occasional swigs of palm wine or liquor, the god will spend the morning blessing, comforting, giving advice and resolving quarrels. To everyone he will have a word. The other performers will leave. There's an ambience of an ending of feast. When Wayanathu Kulavan is finished with his tasks, he has the headgear removed. There is a shudder as the god abandons the body of Rajesh. And he becomes a humble Wanan who bids farewell to the host family. He will return to this Kawul next year on the same date. But meanwhile, he is late for his work as a tuk-tuk driver, and he must hurry.
Video